Welcome back to the Solid Sports Gaming channel. You're watching another edition of the Solid Sports video blog. This is a special NFL division preview as we will look at the AFC West. As this is episode 132, today's date is August 13th, 2020. I'm Troy Westhead. Thank you so much for joining me once again. This is one of our special episodes. Of course, every Thursday for the last 2 months, we've been previewing the NFL division by division. And we're finally at the AFC West will be our final division preview special. I want to thank you so much. So if you miss your favorite division, all of them is in the Solid Sports video blog playlist, and it's noted that it's the division special where they have the division that you want to see in the title. So you could go check that out right now. But today we're focused on the AFC West. So we got the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah, I messed up already. Call them Oakland Raiders. They're now in Las Vegas as they start this season. So we'll talk about those 4 teams today. A lot of stuff going on in the world of sports. Of course, the NBA bubble starting to heat up. Playoffs start next week. So Saturday we'll take a look at that. Damian Lillard beef with everybody. So we'll take a look at all that stuff. Baseball season still rolling. They starting to calm down a little bit. Cardinals still not playing yet because of quarantine from the coronavirus, but we'll see. Maybe they'll play this weekend. So we'll take a look at that. We still probably have some more NFL news as well. So join me Saturday for episode 133. It'll be our normal weekly blog. And then when the NFL starts, we're going to do like we did what I did last year. I will preview the Thursday night game. Whatever the Thursday night game is, I will preview that. We're going to have a big preview session for the NFL. I might do a special video for the NBA playoffs. I'm not sure yet. But if I do, it'll probably be Tuesday morning. I think the playoffs will start till about that time because the play-in game for the West is Saturday. So we'll talk about all that Saturday. But let's stay on topic. Let's look at the AFC West. First up, we're going to talk about the Denver Broncos. Broncos had a little bit of success throughout this decade, even though this decade just ended, but with the Super Bowl 50 in 2015. Of course, Cam Newton MVP year. They beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl. Broncos defense, of course, Peyton Manning's final year. But been consistent, been, somewhat a contender here and there. But last year had some bumps in the road, but still some flashes. Let's look at their schedule. You got a Monday night game start. The first week of the season against the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans will be an interesting team this year, of course. At home, they go to Pittsburgh. Tampa comes there, so Tom Brady coming to Denver, so that'll be an interesting game. At New York Jets, at New England. Miami, Kansas City at home. At Atlanta, that'll be interesting. At Las Vegas. They had Buffalo at home. So pretty sure the New Orleans comes there. So at least all their big games are at home. New Orleans, Tampa, because they play the NFC South. So Tampa and New Orleans come there. They go to Atlanta and they go to Carolina. But New Orleans and Tampa comes to Denver, so that'll be interesting. So we'll see how that goes with them this year. Let's talk about Von Miller. Von Miller, of course, probably their best player. Has been the face of their franchise probably since Peyton retired. The leader of that team. He still getting over the coronavirus. He had it back early, like back in, I want to say April. And he said it was, it was a pretty telling experience. But he's back. He's going to lead that defense again. Still with Nick Chubb on the other side of him. Just Denver's young defense will be, I think, still the anchor of this team. Why the offense getting stuff together, which you're going to talk about soon. They added Melvin Gordon in the offseason. So we'll talk about that soon. But Von Miller, I think he's going to have a monster year. if the Broncos were to surprise some people. Now, a lot of people is talking about the Broncos, like some experts, like they could be a sleeper team, maybe get a wild card. But nobody thinking they go and challenge the Chiefs for the division, but they could be a solid team, maybe, around 9-7 or so, and maybe make the playoffs. But we'll see. But I just brought up Melvin Gordon. Of course, he has issues with the LA Chargers. He goes to the division rival with the Broncos. Broncos got a lot of young players on offense as well. Melvin Gordon joins the backfield with Philip Lindsay, which he's quietly been having put together a couple of good years at the running back position. But of course, the Broncos going to have to deal with the quarterback. That's going to be maybe an issue this year. But drafted Jerry Jeudy from Alabama to go along with Cortland Sutton, which he had a quiet monster year. So the offense looks pretty good, but can Drew Lock, who we about to talk about, can he lead this team? We'll see. But Melvin Gordon, I think that is a big addition for him. He had a decent year last year. He wanted more money. Chargers wouldn't pay him, so they let him walk. And he goes to Denver, so he already took some jabs at the Chargers. Because of the pandemic, it might not be no fans in the stands. He's like, well, that's how it was anyway in LA, And the Chargers, we're going to talk about the Chargers, of course, in a little bit. But, yeah, that was a little bit of a jab at him. And the Chargers hadn't really been accepted by LA, at least not yet. And they moved into their big new stadium with the Rams this season as well. Melvin Gordon, I ain't gonna say overrated because some people say he is. He had that one big year. But you have to prove it. Him, Todd Gurley, all these guys, like it's gonna be some running backs that's gonna have to prove it this year. I think Melvin Gordon is in that boat. But he got some help. Philip Lindsay, not a little slouch, so Denver, very interesting team. The more I think about it, I wouldn't be shocked if they was a playoff team this year. Drew Lock, I brought up Drew Lock. He's the starter going in to the season. I was surprised. I know they probably looked at Cam Newton. They probably looked at James. I wanted to see James come here. Like I think I brought that up before. Like I was advocate. I think I heard somebody else make a case for James going to Denver. If he wanted to start, I think this would have been a good place for him. We got talent. Just like in Tampa, you got some talent around you. Just can't turn the ball over. And we'll see how Drew Lock goes. It's a lot of positive energy coming out of Denver about him right now. So hopefully, they say they liked how he looked at the end of last year. So hopefully he'll take the next step. And if he does, Denver will definitely be a tough team to deal with. But we'll have to see. But I think if Lock don't work out, I think Elway gonna have to get a little evaluated. He's gotten a little bit of heat from the media, but not a lot. To me, not as much as I think he would. Especially with this, since Peyton. Like I said, I haven't really found a quarterback to replace him, which is, Peyton Manning is a legend, but really even before Peyton Manning, Denver didn't have, a steady quarterback. So I think the pressure's on Elway for this to work. But Denver overall, like I said, the Broncos overall, I think they're a decent team. They ain't no slouch team. I think they will get some fits, especially if the defense shows up. And you're going to need it to get after Mahomes and Derek Carr in this division. So Denver, very interesting team. Like I said, once I start breaking everything down, will I have them as a playoff team? I might. I just might have them as a playoff team. But not to win this division, of course, because the defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, who we're going to talk about now, it's a clear favorite to win this division. Probably a clear favorite to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl once again. Of course, Pat Mahomes getting his big contract. But let's look at their schedule. Of course, it's probably a tough schedule, obviously. At Houston, to start the season. Then they go to LA to play the Chargers. At Baltimore, that's the game I'm looking forward to. Just not just as a Raven fan, just as a football fan. That should be a great game. And then it's in Baltimore. Last couple of times the Ravens had to go to Kansas City, so I think that's going to be an interesting game. Then New England comes to KC, Las Vegas, at Buffalo. That'll be an interesting game. See if the Bills, which we talked about already, can they take the next step? At Denver, New York Jets, Carolina, Las Vegas. They go to Tampa. That'll be an interesting game. Tom Brady against Patrick Mahomes. At Miami, it's Tua starting by then. At New Orleans with Drew Brees. Then Atlanta comes to Kansas City. So a lot of interesting games for the Chiefs, but still expect them to do very, very well. Let's talk about Pat Mahomes. I love him. I like watching him play. That first year, the first year he started because he sat the first year behind Alex Smith. But the second year he came in and played. I was sort of him, but you never want to jump too far. I guess, some people would do it. Well, everybody do it now. Just go there, put yourself out there. But I'm the type of guy, like, I want to see you prove it a little bit and not just jump on the bandwagon. But he was lighted up that second year in the league. And then last year, of course, winning the Super Bowl, but he got hurt in the middle of all that. But he got his contract, $500 million basically for 10 years. Like I said, only problem I got with the contract is the years, not the money. I think he deserved the money, but the years is like 10 years. A lot can happen, in football. I think 5 years would be my max for anybody, even a quarterback. Even though the quarterback is protected, and Mahomes is pretty young, so. But at the same time, I don't blame him. Go ahead and lock your quarterback up. You don't know if you're going to be able to run across another one in 5 years. And I think Patrick Mahomes, the scary thing is he's probably still not at his peak yet, not in his prime. So he might go to still improve. But I love watching him play. He reminds me of Brett Favre in that way. Like, I used to love watching Brett Favre on Sundays. Like, he was my favorite quarterback just to watch, because make some type of throw or do something crazy and get the job done. He was a little turnover prone at times, but he was exciting to watch. So I feel the same about Pat Mahomes. He's like the guy I would watch it every week, even though I'm not necessarily a Chiefs fan. But they definitely Super Bowl favorites again. They basically got the same team back. They lost LaShawn McCoy, which I still got respect for LaShawn McCoy. He's not the same, but I still got respect for him. But the running backs are not bad. Of course, they lost Kareem Hunt. That's to me, that kind of sucks. If they still had Kareem Hunt, they've mixed it with this offense as well. Man, imagine like he could even be better. But still got Tyreek Hill, was probably the best, the fastest receivers in the league, definitely. But still, some people still don't put him in the elite category. But his playmaking ability, and we'll see what kind of year he has. He'll definitely be creeping up there. But Antonio Brown not playing right now. You really got Julio. And like I said, I still like AJ Green. Michael Thomas, of course. You got to say Michael Thomas the best right now. And probably Julio second. But I still put AJ Green up there. Like I said, we'll talk about these things throughout the week and throughout the season. But Tyreek Hill definitely need to be mentioned a little bit more. But yeah, they're the favorites. I really, like I said, the AFC to me is really the Ravens and the Chiefs, and then everybody else. And that's why I said Denver maybe could be a playoff team. We're going to talk about the Chargers. The Raiders maybe have something to say this year for a wild card, but I think Kansas City clearly going to win this division. And Andy Reid. I was so happy for him, man, for winning, because to me he reminded me of Mike D'Antoni in the NBA, which Mike D'Antoni still haven't won a ring yet, but he's so innovative. He's a great coach, but just can't get over the hump. I think Andy Reid was pretty much went through that his whole career, that he finally gets one. So I think he's going to be more loose, I think once you, like I said, I think once you win, well, yeah, the hunger gotta still be there, especially in football. But I think that, like, winning in any sport, I think it takes a lot of pressure off you. That's why, like I said, I probably talk about this Saturday about the Chicago Cubs. They doing very well right now. Yeah, it's a different season, you know, the pandemic and stuff. There's no fans, but I really feel like, you know, after they won their World Series, they probably put more pressure on them. But then as the years go on, now it's like, you know, I think that pressure's off them, and I think they should play at their potential. But I mean, it's similar, and I think with Andy Reid winning, yeah, the pressure's higher probably on the outside, but I think on the inside, I think he's like, excuse me, bad yawn there. I think that helps him out a lot. That monkey off his back, you know, because he had a big one, he had a gorilla on his back, about all the things, but he's definitely one of the best coaches. Other than Belichick, he's probably right there, second to me. So I was so happy for Andy Reid. But the Chiefs, like I said, they're an elite team. They're going to be right there again. As long as Pat Mahomes stay healthy, and that defense improved a little bit, which it did near the end of the year. I think that's why they was able to win the Super Bowl last year. I think Chiefs will be right there again. But like I said, I think the Ravens will have a lot to say about that as well. Alright, let's move on. LA Chargers is up now. We're going to take a look at their schedule. And they paid somebody. Joey Bosa got a monster contract. And it's a new era, of course. No Phillip Rivers. So, is this a rebuild for the Chargers? Justin Herbert, is he going to start or get his chance? Or will Tyrod Taylor keep the job? We'll talk about all that soon. But let's look at their schedule first. At Cincinnati, that'll be interesting. Joe Burrow's first game. Then they get Kansas City in week 2 at home. Carolina at Tampa Bay at New Orleans. That's going to be a tough 2 weeks. New York Jets at Miami. Jacksonville. So they got some winnable games here. Las Vegas at home. At Denver, of course, division game. At Buffalo. That'll be a tough one as well. New England comes to LA. Atlanta also. Then they go to Vegas. Denver, then at Kansas City to end the season. So they get 3 division games to end the season. I just talked about Joey Bosa. He had a record contract as far as the guaranteed money for a defensive player. I can't say he don't deserve it. He's had a good couple of years. Even though I like his brother in San Francisco, he plays pretty good. But yeah, he got his big contract. I think it was 102 guaranteed out of 135 for 5 years, I believe. I think, like I said, the guarantee is the record, so they locked him up. A lot of people was critical of it because, you know, he's just a defensive lineman. Maybe you can find another one, but at the same time, when you got a good player, lock him up if you can. Keep him here. Like I said, there's no guarantee you can find someone, you know, as good as them, or, you know, you can find another young guy you can have for cheap. So that's why I don't got no problem with the Mahomes contract either. Like, if you know this guy is going to give you what he going to give you, why not lock him up if you can? But he's going to have to perform though. This year, you know, he had issues when they first drafted him about his contract. So that's why I was kind of shocked. You know, not shocked, but I was like, oh, okay, they committed to him. I guess he showed them enough, and everything's all right now. So that was interesting. But congratulations to him. But yeah, he's gonna have to play up to it though. Yeah, this is a new era for the used to be the San Diego Chargers. Now they're the LA Chargers. Phillip Rivers moved on, so it's gonna be weird to see him not there in a Charger uniform. Like I said, Tyrod Taylor will be the starter to go into camp. They drafted Justin Herbert first round out of Oregon, so we'll see. Tyrod Taylor, not a bad quarterback, but I guess he's the perfect bridge. We'll see what kind of year he has. Got the talent around him with Mike Williams and dang, what's the other receiver name? I hate when I blank out like this, man. But they got a good receiving core. Of course, they lost Melvin Gordon to Denver. So the running backs, I'm not sure who's there for that. In fact, why not? Let's look at this. We could look at the their roster. But yeah, I would say, I want to say it's somewhat a rebuilding year for the Chargers, but it's definitely a whole nother team. So it's going to be tough for them, I think, to win. Keenan Allen, that's what I was thinking. That's the receiver I was thinking about. Like I said, Mike Williams. I think my man Antonio Gates retired. And he had a good career. To me, he's a Hall of Famer, by the way. That's something we'll probably talk about. But like I said, it's a new era. Coach Anthony Lynn, one of the few black coaches at least. I root for the Chargers on that alone. But we'll see. I mean, let's see if Tyrod can get it done. Like I said, I'm looking at their roster now. Never heard of these running backs, so we'll see. But the defense, with Bosa, Melvin Ingram the third, yeah. So their defense supposed to be pretty decent. So maybe that'll get them by, and then just, Tyrod's a guy, he don't turn the ball over either. So that's the good thing about Tyrod Taylor. He don't turn the ball over. So play good defense, don't turn the ball over, maybe run the ball a little bit, do some play action, hit Keenan Allen and Mike Williams deep. Maybe that's how the Chargers would look. But, they drafted Herbert high, so if Taylor struggles, Herbert will probably get in sooner than later. I think I seen one game of him. If it was early, it was a game last year. I like the kid. It's not bad. They lost to Auburn. Remember that game, the first game of the year, Auburn against Oregon? And I think Herbert just drove them down the field to score, but then Auburn was able to answer and score in the last seconds and win the game. But I like his poise. I think if he's polished, he could probably be a good quarterback in this league. But Tyrod will start, though, the season. And if he struggles, then Herbert might play this year. But I wouldn't be shocked if he don't play, if the Chargers compete, that he might not play this year. Or unless injury happens, of course, there's always a chance of that. So, but I like him. I mean, I'm surprised he went that high, but I don't have no problem with him. I think he could be a good quarterback in the NFL. But like I said, without Phillip Rivers, it's just a whole different era for the Chargers. We'll see how they compete in 2020. Like I said, maybe battle for a wild card, possibly. With the AFC being as open as it is. Like I said, other than Kansas City and Baltimore, I think the rest of the AFC is wide open. So we'll see. So we just got one team left, and it's the Las Vegas Raiders. I was about to say the Oakland Raiders again. The Las Vegas Raiders. Let's take a look at their schedule as they moved to Las Vegas. Of course, it was in LA at one point. At Carolina, and then New Orleans will be their first ever home game, and that's a Monday night game. I remember that. At New England, Buffalo at home, at Kansas City, close division game. Tampa comes to Las Vegas. Tampa got a real interesting. I know they're gonna be on TV a lot because of Brady, but they got just a very interesting schedule. At Cleveland, LA Chargers at home, Denver, Kansas City, so 3 straight division games at home. So that'll be good for Las Vegas. But then they go to Atlanta and go to New York Jets, Indianapolis, LA Chargers, and then Miami. So they got a pretty, good schedule here, as far as like stringing together a lot of home games. Then they at Denver to end the season. Derek Carr, he's been in the news of late. Been getting some criticism He been tripping back. Now with social media, as soon as you hear about any criticism, some players just go right to Twitter or Facebook or wherever, Instagram, and they voice their opinion or clap back. I think it was somebody from NFL Network or might have been ESPN. I forgot exactly who. But basically, I agree with him. They was like, well, he had to show it. Like he had, the 1 year they went 11-5, I think 12-4. He got hurt in the play, so they lost in the first round of playoffs. But really, other than that year, it's been an average. Now he had a good year last year quietly. I think he passed for almost 5,000 yards. His completion percentage was kind of high. Then you got the running back Woodley behind you, so basically, yeah, you got to go out there and play and prove it. So we'll see. I like him. I like their card. I think he could still be the starter, and because they're saying, well, maybe should trade him and all this. There's been a lot of rumors going around. Is Gruden even dedicated to him? But because they tried to get Brady, they pushed hard. I thought that's where Tom Brady might go. They was pushing hard. And I know John Gruden liked veteran quarterbacks, like a la back in the early 2000s. Rich Gannon winning MVP with him. So he likes veteran quarterbacks. But Carr, maybe right now he got their Carr. Let's see what happens there. We're gonna talk more about John Gruden soon too, before we wrap this up. The new home, Las Vegas. As far as off topic, Las Vegas is always somewhere I always wanted to go just to see how it is. And for other reasons, I ain't gonna get deep into those reasons, but there's one main reason why I would go to Las Vegas. But definitely to see, the scenery, see the casino, see the strip and everything. I know some people that's been there say it's beautiful there. So I kind of want to go, one day. That's a bucket list thing. But a lot of people was worried, about the sports betting and just the city itself. Would it be a distraction for the Raiders or any other professional team? Of course, it haven't been a distraction for the hockey team, the Golden Knights of Las Vegas. Did they win the Stanley Cup? They got to the Stanley Cup final, but they've been playing pretty well, and I think they're doing well again now, even though they're in the bubble in the NHL playoffs. But we'll see how that goes. With the pandemic, there's nothing you can do anyway. I don't know how I don't know if Nevada opened up their stuff, or is it still, shut down there. But you don't hear a lot about Nevada in the news, so they must be doing pretty decent as far as the coronavirus is concerned. But I think it's good to have sports in Las Vegas. I don't have an issue with it. Let's see if they was talking about maybe putting an NBA team there. That's been a topic of discussion before. But I think there's 2 pro sports teams there now. We'll see how they, like I said, the Knights have done pretty well. We'll see how the Raiders do. But I don't think I'm not a big believer in distractions and all that. Either you come ready to play or you're not. You know what I'm saying? I don't put too much stock into that anyway. No matter what city, like Miami is another example. But all right, with the Heat, they be winning. They still win. Dolphins, they have their moments. But they say it's worse for the road teams, like the teams that come in to visit. Basically, it's like an advantage. So maybe that'll be that way for the Raiders. We'll see though. John Gruden. I like John Gruden. I loved him more as a coach for the Buccaneers when they won the Super Bowl. I loved him on Monday Night Football. I loved him with his first stint with the Raiders. He was a Raiders coach. Like I said, when I brought up Rich Gannon, he was the Raiders coach then. Then he went to Tampa and won the Super Bowl there. Beat the Raiders actually in the Super Bowl, if everybody remember that. 2002. Super Bowl 36, I believe. Yeah. Well, he's locked up for 10 years as well. He had to sign the Ben contract when he came back. But I think the Raiders trust him, so I guess I gotta trust him. But I like him. Like I said, I like his mind. I think he really knows what he's talking about. I think he's a good coach. But just like any other coach, if you don't win, you're gonna start to hear it. So I think the Raiders gotta make some type of improvement, or maybe he should be reevaluated at the end of the year. But we'll see. But I like him. I think the Raiders gonna turn it around. I think they got a nice little young team. Like I said, this division, like I said, the NFL, like I said, the AFC is basically the Chiefs and the Ravens. But other than that, it's so much parity in the AFC and in the NFC as well. Like in the NFC, it's not no clear-cut team. You would say San Francisco because they just made it to the Super Bowl, but I think teams that improved, Seattle. You got to throw Green Bay in there. Dallas probably make a little bounce back. Philadelphia. So the NFC is more deeper than with contenders. Now it'll be the Chiefs and the Ravens, but one of them could maybe get knocked off, get upset like Tennessee. See what Tennessee did last year. I'm getting all the way to the AFC Championship. Houston to be a factor. That might crack either Houston, Baltimore or Kansas City. So, but this division, just to keep it with this division, the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Broncos, even though it's all the Chiefs here. Not no like two. I don't see them winning 2-3 games. I think they're gonna be close. Maybe all of them competing for wild card spots. So it's going to depend on if you win your division games, I guess. And the games, like the Raiders here, they got, like I said, they got some winnable games here, but you gonna have to go out there and just win. Just win, baby. That's their motto anyway, right? But yeah, I think John Gruden is the guy for the job, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with Derek Carr. Is he really dedicated to him or not? So all this stuff will be probably worked out throughout the season. So that does it for the AFC West division preview. Like I said, Chiefs clearly the class of this division. We'll see where the other three teams fall. Like I said, now that I've talked about the Broncos, I like the Broncos. If Drew Lock give you anything, they would be formidable. Chargers have some talent, and so do the Raiders. So we'll see how this division turns out. I think all three of those teams will compete for a wild card. Kansas City will compete for the number 1 seed in the AFC. So we'll see. But that's our show for today. Like I said, this is our last one. So we'll just start doing just Saturday shows. And this Saturday we'll look at the whole sports world, the NBA bubble. Like I said, playoffs will be, I think they'll be set. And if they are, I'll take a look at that. Look at some baseball news, and we'll do some NFL as well. And I would thank you guys for the support. Thank my man Derek. I talked to you the other day, bro. Like I said, I still got the same number, so you can hit me up, bro. I thank him for his support. He comes through and watch the videos sometimes. And I thank the rest of you guys as well. I appreciate it. I'll go ahead and get off of here. Take a little nap. Because like I said, I'll be tired. I'm just getting off work, really. So came straight and did doing the blog. So I thank you guys for your patience and your support. So we got a big show Saturday, so come back and join me Saturday for episode 132 on Saturday. Probably be sometime in the morning. 133, excuse me. Looking at my notes wrong now. Yeah, it'll be episode 133, and we'll talk about everything that happened in the world of sports this week, not just even NFL news as well. So I'm Troy West saying thank you for watching the Silent Sports and Gaming channel. You just watched another edition of the Silent Sports video blog. Special AFC West preview. NFL season is right around the corner, and teams are already in training camp getting ready, and the AFC West will be another interesting division to watch out for. thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you Saturday. Thank you so much for watching.